Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the pod. Today I am chatting about herniated discs and specifically around debunking some myths there are around herniated discs and hopefully helping you feel less afraid when you hear these words, because I know that for myself personally, before I went through this big education program all around solving mobility and pain issues, I didn't know anything about herniated discs or back pain, right? And you hear the word herniated disc and you're like, oh my gosh, that must mean, this person can't do X, Y, Z or whatever. And a lot of that is just not true. So most herniated discs reabsorb on their own with conservative treatment. And this can happen anywhere from 6 to 12 months, depending on the severity level. But I think just knowing that fact alone is, or should be, a really big sigh of relief. Hey, this is not a death sentence, right? Just because you have a herniated disc does not really mean much at all, right? And I think that where people can really get freaked out about this is if they get imaging, and depending on what their imaging says, can all of a sudden send them into some type of spiral, right? Oh my gosh, the doctor, I said I have herniated L5-S1. That's the most common one that I've seen. But, in reality, it's really about okay, what are your symptoms? What type of pain are you experiencing? Because a lot of people with herniated discs that might show up on imaging aren't experiencing any pain. You can actually be pretty asymptomatic even if you do have a herniated disc. This is why I'm not a big proponent of getting imaging unless it is absolutely necessary, because it can cause a lot of fear, right? But anyway, so I think that's helpful to know too. You can have a herniated disc and be asymptomatic. There are a lot of people with things going on in their body that would show up on imaging that are not necessarily experiencing any pain at all, right? So I think knowing that can be helpful. And in terms of dealing with this for yourself and for your clients, if you are a coach listening, is focusing on what is within your control when it comes to having a herniated disc, experiencing back pain. And I talked about this in my last episode as well, but stress, diet, and sleep, obviously number one. With your stress levels, managing what you can in terms of lowering your stress levels if possible, and if not, and if it just is what it is, which is also the case a lot of times, is how can you work in some de-stressing activities into your day. This can look like taking a few deep breaths, right, whenever you feel overwhelmed. This can look like doing some coloring throughout your day. That's mainly for if you work from home. I know if you're in an office, you can't really pull out a coloring book or whatever, but the deep breaths is one of the easiest ones. Making sure you're getting in 3 full meals in your day, a couple of snacks, making sure you're eating all whole foods, protein focused, getting in micronutrients, getting in at least 20 grams of fiber a day, things like that. Water, are you drinking water? And then looking at your sleep. Are you able to get minimum 7+ hours of sleep? I know that if you are a parent, that's probably not realistic, but just managing what you can, the sleep that you are able to get. Is it good quality? Can you make sure it's good quality? Like setting yourself up for stretches of good sleep for the parents out there, even if you are waking up frequently throughout the night. And then it comes to movement. Movement you can do comfortably. Remember that blood flow promotes healing. So any type of blood flow you can get going is going to be positive for your back and potentially herniated disc situation. Scaling back movements however much you need to, but just knowing that like movements are good. Movements are good for you. Like if you're somebody who notices that your body feels better when you move, that's a great sign. So I think just remembering that movement is helpful and not harmful. It just depending on the dose is so key. And if you are dealing with something like a herniated disc or consistent back pain, what is going to help you the absolute most is a custom exercise program targeted at your weaknesses so that you can strengthen up those weaknesses, and that will help you feel better. It will help you feel better. And that's where a lot of people dealing with back issues or herniated disc miss the mark, because they either think that movement's going to hurt them, so then they stop moving, but then over time they notice like, oh, I'm just getting stiffer and my back is hurting even more. Or you aren't doing any type of custom exercise program and you're doing a template or you're going to a group class and you're just like modifying everything, but you're never addressing your weaknesses. You're never addressing the whys behind you're dealing with the back issue in the first place. And at that point, you're just prolonging how long it's going to take to feel better, because the people that I have worked with that were experiencing back pain and herniated disc was like they had huge glaring weaknesses in their body, such as not being able to bend over without extreme discomfort, not being able to do a step up on one leg on one side, having extremely weak inner thighs, having extremely weak glutes, like all of these things. If you have a list like that going on in your body, strengthening those up is only going to be beneficial for you. And if you ignore them, they are just going to not get stronger, obviously. So that is also a large piece of the puzzle. And yeah, I think that is pretty much all I wanted to say in this episode, keeping it pretty short, but just wanted to throw in that specific information around herniated disc. And so if you are a coach who has clients that are experiencing this, or if you are experiencing it yourself, know that it is not a death sentence, that conservative treatment should be the first line of defense for this, and you're not destined to a life of pain. But you do need to dial in the things that are within your control, because it'll only benefit you. And if you are listening to this on the day it comes out, this is day 1 of my 3-day back pain mini program. It's called Coaching Clients Through Back Pain, where I am covering in depth these topics around back pain and how to develop your own system for helping your clients or yourself when you are experiencing back pain. And this is the last day to hop in. I'm going to let people into this through day 1. I'm hosting it in an app called Telegram, which is basically where I will be dropping trainings, voice memo, and video style. And you can listen back to the trainings on your own time. So this is not something where you have to show up live to get the benefit from it. Link will be in the show notes if you want to hop in last minute. But thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next week.